Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today I bring you a classic fable in an extended version, so you can enjoy it slowly and fully. The Mouse and the Sleeping Lion, a tale full of lessons, adventure, and a powerful moral at the end. So sit back, relax, and join me on this beautiful journey. The Mouse and the Sleeping Lion. Long ago, in the heart of a vast golden savannah where the wind whispered through tall grass and the trees stood like ancient guardians, lived many animals: giraffes with elegant necks, zebras with black and white stripes, swift antelopes, and of course, the most feared and respected of all, the lion, the king of beasts. He was a magnificent creature. His mane was golden like the setting sun, and his roar echoed for miles across the plains, sending birds into flight and making even the bravest animals tremble. He was strong, proud, and walked with a heavy, deliberate grace of one who knows no fear. In this same land, under the roots of an old baobab tree, lived a tiny gray mouse. He had twitchy whiskers, shiny black eyes, and a heart full of curiosity. He was small, so small he barely rustled the grass as he walked, but his spirit was large. The mouse loved to explore. Every day he wandered far from his burrow, sniffing the air, searching for seeds and crumbs, learning about the world. Though he was always careful to avoid danger, his curiosity often led him to places where no mouse had ever dared to go. One blazing hot afternoon, when even the insects seemed too tired to buzz, the lion decided to take a nap under a wide, shady tree. He had eaten well that morning, and the heat made his eyelids heavy. Soon, he was snoring, sprawled out in the shade, his great paws twitching as he dreamed. The mouse, on one of his usual adventures, wandered nearby. He was so focused on tracking the scent of a delicious seed that he didn't notice the lion sleeping under the tree. And then bump! He tripped over something soft and furry. It was the lion's paw. The mouse froze. The lion's eyes opened slowly. Then, with a sudden roar, he leapt to his feet. The sound thundered across the savannah and shook the branches above. Birds flew, monkeys fled, and the mouse was left trembling at the lion's feet. "Who dares to wake me from my nap?" growled the lion, baring his teeth. The mouse dropped to the ground and squeaked in terror. "Please, mighty lion, forgive me. I didn't mean to disturb you. It was an accident. I was just looking for food." The lion narrowed his eyes and raised a paw. The mouse braced for the end. "Why shouldn't I crush you right now?" asked the lion. "Because one day, noble king, I might be able to help you," the mouse said, his tiny voice quivering. The lion blinked. Then he threw back his head and let out a deep laugh, a laugh so loud it startled a herd of antelope nearby. "You? Help me," he chuckled. "You're smaller than my paw. What could you possibly do for a lion?" But something about the mouse's boldness amused him. And besides, he wasn't really hungry. "Go, little mouse," said the lion. "Run before I change my mind." Thank you, squeaked the mouse, and he scurried away as fast as his legs would carry him. Weeks passed. The lion returned to his routine of hunting, sleeping, and ruling the savannah. He had almost forgotten the encounter with the mouse. But fate had other plans. One morning, while prowling near the edge of the forest, the lion stepped into a trap set by humans, hunters who had placed a strong net hidden beneath leaves and grass. With a snap, the trap sprung, and the lion was hoisted into the air, entangled in a web of thick ropes. The lion roared. He thrashed and twisted, but the more he struggled, the tighter the net held him. His powerful claws couldn't tear through the ropes. He was trapped, helpless. Hours passed. The sun climbed high, and the lion grew tired and desperate. He roared again, but no one came. No one, except the mouse. From his nest beneath the baobab, the mouse had heard the lion's roar, only this time it wasn't fierce or proud. It was a cry for help. The mouse didn't hesitate. He raced toward the sound, dodging roots and leaping over stones. When he reached the clearing, he saw the great lion hanging helplessly in the hunter's net. The mouse looked up at him and called, "Don't worry, my friend. I will help you." The lion, exhausted and humiliated, looked down in disbelief. "You? What can you do?" But the mouse climbed up the ropes with skill. He reached the thickest part of the net and began to gnaw. His tiny teeth, sharp and determined, bit through one rope, then another and another. Time passed. The mouse worked tirelessly, sweat dripping from his whiskers. Finally, with one last snap, the net broke open. The lion dropped to the ground with a thud, but he was free. He stood up, slowly, and stared at the little mouse. You saved me," he whispered. The mouse smiled. "I told you, someday I might be able to help." The lion lowered his head in gratitude. "I am forever in your debt, brave little mouse." From that day on, the lion and the mouse became the most unlikely of friends. The lion protected the mouse from snakes and birds of prey, and the mouse helped the lion avoid traps and danger by scouting ahead. The other animals watched in awe as the mighty lion and the tiny mouse walked together through the savannah. They had learned something important, something that would never be forgotten. Moral of the story: never judge someone by their size or appearance. True strength lies not only in muscles or a mighty roar, but in courage, kindness, and loyalty. Even the smallest friend can make the biggest difference. Thank you for joining me on this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. See you in the next story.